What's good, YouTube? It's your man. Turn me up. Tony back at it with another reaction video today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today's topic, we got 9-to-5 jobs are awful. And we're tired of pretending that they're not. How many of you can agree that the job market is terrible right now? It's finito. It's done. So I don't even gotta explain too much on this. We about to just automatically jump right into the video. Before we do, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we about to, turn up today. So without further ado, let's get it.
I'm literally 6 months into my first corporate job and I already want to quit. And it's not the fact that I don't like my job and like the people suck and like it's just horrible. It's like actually a pretty nice job. Like I love my coworkers. Like it's all around great. Like if you look at it at face value, it's great. My one thing that I hate most is the fact that it's been 6 months and I literally feel like nothing has happened in the past 6 months. I work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Actually, no, it's more like 8 to 5. And sometimes it's like 5 to 5. I'll be going through my work week, and then by the time it gets to Friday, I'm just so exhausted to the fact where like I can't do anything on the weekend anymore.
That's how these jobs are. Literally. 9 to 5 is literally the schedule where it's just like, you know what? It's the perfect medium for you don't have enough time to do shit. That's what a 9 to 5 is. It's early enough where you can't do nothing, and you get out late enough where you can't do nothing. It's no win-win. About time you get off at 5 o'clock, say you want to hit the gym, say you want to relax, unwind, go to your friend's house, whatever the case may be. It's you already in the bed again. You already in a bed. Like time go like that. And you don't have enough time to do anything, to work on projects. It's such a inconvenient schedule. I feel like for the short term, like yes, a 9 to 5 is cool. But if you have further goals, like if you want to be an entrepreneur, or you have other things that you want to do in life, I feel like it's going to eat up so much of your time that you're gonna have to micromanage so much just to be productive. So she ain't lying with that.
Anymore. Something needs to change in this like work culture because like this is not cutting it. Because I'm not gonna go through my entire life working for like 40 years and then like I wake up one day and I think about it and I'm like, wow, it's been 40 years and I've done literally nothing. The only caveat with quitting this job is that I will not have any money. So how am I supposed to live? Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't understand. Anyway, that's my rant for today.
I felt like that for the longest time. You ain't the only one, sis, bro. When I used to work at these jobs, it used to suck so much out of me. Whoa, pause for a second. But it used to suck a lot out of me. About time I was done working, I was tired. It was kind of hard to be like, let me go to the gym or let me do this, because it's like your day is just, you're dealing with customers. You hardly get any breaks. It's just, it's really not the way that we're supposed to be living as humans. It's just not. A healthy work-life balance does not exist within these jobs. But at the same token, at the same time, we need it to survive. That's the only way we can fund our expenses and our entertainment is by working these 9 to 5s. Because working part-time, and especially in today's economy, ain't gonna cut it. Everything is so expensive, from rent to entertainment to just like you can't even have a nice night out on a weekend without having to spend a good amount of money. And that says a lot. That's why I do a lot of things for free. I don't even like spending money on entertainment like that. Hey, I go hoop, I go walk in the park. That's my sense of freedom. Leave me alone. But everything is just it's just, I feel like that's the dynamic right there. You work so much and you work so hard to the fact that you can't focus on yourself. And to me, that's not life.
What do the biggest successes in books, music, movies, and more have in common? After countless...
See you next time. Peace.
I hate that I can't just come to work and do the job. I have to come to work and perform.
Let me demystify corporate America for you all really quickly. It's nothing but a stage. And once you realize that you are an actor, it becomes super easy. Just get the lines down and the cadence and just practice your delivery. Yes, I can get that to you right away, okay? By end of day, okay. We'll have to circle back really and truly, but I'm really confident that we can achieve our goals. And that's like level 1, but if you want the master class, here's some other techniques, okay? How's your oldest daughter doing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah, college applications can be really difficult. It's the kids, it's all in the kids.
I worked in corporate.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what he just said just now. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to pretend like I just really understood his whole talking point. We're just going to skip that and go to the next one because I don't know what just happened. My mind drew a blank, and I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments what he meant by what he.
Corporate America for several years. I kind of bop in and out. And in my humble opinion, corporate speak is the worst thing. I absolutely hate it. I don't get it. I don't like it. I'm good at it. I deal with it, but I don't like it. I think it's stupid. Why can't we just talk regularly with respect?
Is that my
Why do we have to say, oh, just checking in, circling back? What? Nobody says that. And then as soon as you start saying that in real life, it's like, oh, you're a corporate girly. I can see it. I can see it. And also, having been a corporate girly, having not been a corporate girly, like I said, bopping in and out, no one's happy. No one is happy deep down. So why do we just take away all of the BS and act normal and act real? That would just make everyone more happy. They get to be themselves, their authentic selves. That would be the best way to do it. Oh, gosh.
Does anybody else feel like their life is just passing them by because of their job in corporate America? And you try really hard to compartmentalize your life and your job, but you have anxiety, and so everything just meshes together, and you end every single day with 15 tasks that you didn't complete, so it just gets pushed the next day, and you're just in this never-ending cycle of feeling like you're behind and like you're not doing enough. I'm going insane.
That's why you have to focus on yourself. You got to find other means, other things. I feel like a wise man once said, once you do what you passionately love doing, you'll never work another day again in your life. That's why we got to get back to that. We got to get back to the center of that. Not just working because we're trying to accumulate a paycheck. Even though you got to do what you got to do, but a job is just supposed to be a stepping stone to get you from point A to point B. If there's something that you want to do, if you're trying to start a business, whatever, a job is just supposed to be used to fund that, to fund your endeavors. So when you get to that plan B, now you can flow efficiently and effectively in your new endeavor, in your new career. But it's not meant for you to work 40, 50 plus years at one job, constantly draining yourself. It just is, that's not it. For some people, they can do that. I'm not saying it's bad if you do that. If that's your calling in life, then go right ahead. There's some people who love the work environment. They love busting their ass to try to rise to the top in corporate America, spending all these years trying to do so. If that's what gets them going, if that's their reason why, then I don't blame them. But I'm talking about the people who are trying to look for a better solution instead of just trying to be in this self-perpetuating cycle just to keep up with rent and expenses, as this whole economy is all automatically getting expensive by the day, by the month, by the year. So it's just, it feels like a lose-lose situation. It feels like you're in a damn hamster wheel and you just can't get out of it. That's why a lot of people be crashing out, and their mental health don't even be in the right alignment because of that. These jobs are meant to make you crash out, to not make you realize your self-worth, to not make you put yourself before find the things that you're passionate about. No. There's people who work at these jobs for many, many years and still haven't got promoted, still haven't gotten a raise, still haven't gotten a bonus. They get a thank you card and have a nice day. Now get back to work. Crazy.
All right. So I quit my white collar finance job about a month ago and started driving. And I've been driving for long enough to kind of talk about the difference between the two jobs. So when I was in the office, the first thing I noticed was, like, when I used to work in the office, after a day, I would be exhausted, like mentally exhausted. Like I'd come home and wouldn't have enough time or energy to like think or cook or like do anything else extracurricular. I just wanted to lay down and do nothing. But you know, driving's not like that. So like, I'm tired at the end of the day, but I get home and I have time to really focus on everything else that I have going on in my life, you know, plan for, you know, my personal business as well as other things. The second thing I noticed was the demographics. I was the only black man on my floor for like 2 years. And that was, I went into it knowing that, you know, I was gonna be, you know, the minority or whatever, but what they don't tell you is how draining that is. Work became less about my abilities and my expertise, and it became more of a performance to show competence rather than letting my competence show through my actual work. And I went to school for finance. I did not go to school for political science, so I just wasn't feeling the office politics. Like, in retrospect, there was so much going on, but while I was deep in it, I couldn't necessarily point out all the red flags. Yeah, so when I was working in corporate, I never had a male manager, and I especially never had like a black male supervisor. Like, all my supervisors were predominantly white women, and that's the complete opposite of, you know, my supervisor now. But yeah, man, just happy to be out of that environment. So let me know if you want to hear more about my corporate experience or what I got coming up next. You know, I don't see too many people, too many men in particular.
Sit in my office.
I don't know what he just said. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna go to the next person.
That takes a 1 hour lunch. The only person, I'm the youngest person, I'm not gonna say my age, but I am the youngest person and the only person that takes a 1 hour lunch. We come in at 7 a.m. and we leave at 5 p.m. Those are 10-hour days.
7 a.m. and you
So
leave
those are
at
50-hour
5.
weeks.
7 a.m. and you leave at 5 p.m. is crazy. A 10-hour shift, you only take 1 hour lunch break. Man, I'm taking at least about 3. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What do you eat? What are we even talking about? I'll be damned if I gotta wake up at the ass crack of dawn to go bust my ass out a 10-hour shift and then I get 1 lunch break? 1 lunch break. 1 hour lunch break. You think that's enough to fuel me to make sure I can do my job effectively and efficiently and consistently? No, it's not. You're just asking me to quit at that point. You can't even, like, that is crazy. They need to set a new law where you gotta have, like they gotta balance it out, because it's like, that's just not conducive. That's not conducive for me, myself, and not for you, because if I can't work and I can't be the best version of myself, how can I make the job easier for the manager? How can I make the job easier for the company? I'm just going to be a liability at that point. So you should want to accommodate for us. You should want to support us. And even just throwing in little perks and bonuses. Come on, 1 hour.
We're salary. We don't get paid for 50-hour weeks. We get paid for 40-hour weeks. Nobody
You don't even get paid for 50.
takes an hour lunch. I take my hour lunch because why not? And then I feel like, you know, these judgmental stares when I come back in, like, I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm not doing this. work-life balance. Isn't that what I got interviewed for? You guys said we care about work-life balance, blah, blah, blah. They're always trying to sell you this dream, paint you this picture. I'm so tired of these jobs. If you're my boss, I'm just kidding. I've been trying to figure out where his TikTok is so I can block him. Can't find it though, so hopefully he doesn't have a TikTok.
You should be able to, it's freedom of speech. What are you supposed to be, a robot? Like you're just supposed to just show up and just be like, hey, this is the best job ever. Yeah, I'm not gonna have anything wrong with this. This doesn't affect me whatsoever. Yeah, let me just go along like a little sim, like a little bot, like an NPC, and just do my job. Not knowing that I'm human, I have emotions, I have needs, I have things that I get frustrated about, and your corporation, your boss should have an understanding of that because his ass is human too. I'm pretty sure he has to deal with the higher stresses of management above him. So you can't sit, if you want to take your work-life balance, if you want to take your 1 hour lunch break, that's on you. You go right ahead. I commend you for that. You know what? Let's give a round of applause. Because luckily, if that was me, I'll be taking 3 lunches. You're better than me. I will be taking at least 3. Ain't no way in hell you about to have me at no 10-hour shift and I only get 1 hour lunch, bro. Ain't no way, bro. It just ain't no way. You need breaks in between. You need breaks. You always need breaks. I'm pretty sure I heard of this thing. I forgot what it's called. It's something effect. I don't know if it's like the pomegranate effect or it's something where if you study for a long, extensive period of time, that you're supposed to take like at least like a 30-minute break, like in between, like literally. So like for every hour that you go, you should be taking at least 30 minutes to unwind, to rest, and then you get back into it for another hour, you take another 30 minutes. And that's how you can be more effectively, especially if it's a thinking job. You know, especially if it's something where you got to be sharp, you got to be precise, you got to be, you know, on it. So I don't know why they don't take that in consideration. We get it, time is money. But at the end of the day, people got to stop treating these workers like they're just some damn farm animals and they're supposed to jump whenever you say jump. These are regular people, everyday working American people who make your job what it is, who make the company what it is. Without them, you have essentially nothing. Forget your turnover rate. We live in a post-pandemic, people are job hopping regardless. But the fact of the matter is you want those people, you need those people who are willing to be like, you know what, I'm okay with this job. I feel comfortable. My boss attends to my needs. My boss supports me emotionally, mentally. You know, we have a great support system. You know, once you get that and feel that from a company, then you're going to get, you know, hard workers. You're going to get people who are going to show up and going to want to love doing their job. And then there's longevity. You don't got to worry about them quitting after a week or after a month or whatever the case may be. So maybe management, they got to take more notes.
5 is bullshit. Unpaid lunch breaks are bullshit. Working all day and going home to have 2 hours of free time before bed is bullshit. 5-day work week is bullshit. Working yourself to death is bullshit. Retiring at 65, unlikely, is bullshit.
Unlikely.
Starting your adult life in debt from student loans is bullshit. Giving kids 7 hours of school and then homework to ready them for the never-ending grind is bullshit. It is so frustrating that we have one chance of life on this earth and humanity chooses taxes and credit scores and pollution instead of floating around in the ocean all day eating fruit and hanging out.
You want to know?
Ironically, that's how we were supposed to live. They used to do a barter system where they used to just trade goods back in the day. You know, we used to hunt, get our own food, but by the sake of convenience, this is the type of reality that we now live in, where we have to abide by the system. You know, the only thing that would make it change is if people revolt, if people create their own system, but that's never going to happen, you know, because people love convenience. But what are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of convenience? So to get out of that loop, we got to learn how to be more self-sufficient. That's the only way. People have to be more self-sufficient. You know, we got to get back to our roots as humans. instead of relying on these things that just end up with broken promises, and that just end up with a stressful lifestyle. And nobody wants to do that. But you ain't gonna tell Jeff Bezos that. You ain't gonna tell Billy Goats that. I said Billy Goats. Billy Gates.
Why Gen Z is pushing back against traditional workplace norms. Maybe it's because they're right. They're calling us all out. They're calling us out on the expectation to be available 24/7, the idea that presence equals productivity, the pressure to give your whole self to work. And I can tell you, these aren't just Gen Z issues.
It's millennial.
They're human issues that we've just normalized for way too long. They're not asking for special treatment. I think they're asking for what we are.
But the thing is, you know, the other generations, the older generations, they're going to say, oh, we're just weak. We're just lazy. But that's not the case to be. You know, that's not the case at all. I think people are just tired of this repeated cycle of unfulfilling and unhappiness. You know, people are tired of the quote unquote American dream of just working just to sustain, just to maintain. We get it. There is peace within that. You know, maybe life is that. You know, you work and you have your perks, you have your entertainment, but some people want to do that at least stress-free. Some people want to at least find their purpose in the midst of that, because essentially that's the most important thing. The gifts and talent that you have and you put it into fruition is the most important thing. A job is always going to be there. A company is always going to be there, with or without you. So you have to understand that, and then you have to come up with literally a good plan, an executed plan of how you can escape that, to not only better yourself, but for your family, for the people around you. Because if you're depressed, if you're stressed, then it's going to affect everything and everybody else around you. So you have to get out of that.
We all deserve, which are workplaces that enhance our humanity instead of diminishing it.
It's getting out of hand, and it has got to stop. The corporate jargon is getting out of hand, and I'm over it. I'm tired of strategically realigning on our objectives and really taking a deeper dive into how we synergize as a team. And piggybacking off of what Kyle said, I think it's so important that we grab the low-hanging fruit. Matter of fact, if you didn't know it, you should really build the plane while flying it. What are we talking about? What?
I don't even know what that even means. To be able to fly it, you have to build it. So
what are we talking about? And why are we always taking deeper dives? I'm tired of diving.
I feel you, sis. We all feel you. You're not the only one. Everybody is affected by it. Everybody feels that way. Everybody is on the brink of crashing out because of the everyday pressures of life. The everyday pressures. So we get it. We get it. We feel you wholeheartedly. 100%. But the real question is, what are we going to do about it? That's the real question. What are we going to do about it? Because we can sit here and we could talk all day. We can know what the problem is. But if you're not going to figure out a solution, then there's no point. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So always keep that in mind.
I'm so tired of diving. I am tired of realigning. Am I about to cry right now?
I thought you were.
Y'all. Today was a day, and I'm done.
Hey, business owner, tired of wasting hours
Make
on
your
scheduling,
money,
attendance,
get your
and payroll?
ads,
Making here to simplify all.
I did get approved to be in the TikTok Shop Creator Fund, so maybe I need to start doing that because I cannot with the corporate jargon.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Yes. Maybe that means you are supposed to do that. like I said, be more self-sufficient, using your talents, your gifts, your voice, and maybe creating a passive income off of that, and stop relying on these corporate jobs that are just going to continue to fail you and fail you and fail you. Now, if you have a good job, I'm not saying just get up and just quit your job. You know, if you a damn software engineer and you working at damn Facebook, and if you're getting paid lovely, then you might want to reconsider. But I mean, at the end of the night, with all seriousness, it's really all about how you feel at the end of the day. No matter how much money you have, I don't care. No amount of money is worth your mental health. It's not. Forget what anybody else is going to tell you. No amount of money is worth your mental health, because it is hard out here. It is hard. But in the same token, we got to figure out a way to bypass that. That way we can still be sustaining. We can still survive. We can still have money to be able to live and do things. You know, because there has to be a balance. You don't want to just go all the way balls deep off the deep end, and then now you're just stuck even more. You know, because everything, contrary to popular belief, everything costs money. It does. But I feel like we got to get into a medium where it's just like we realize that, but then we're not in a way where we're stressing ourselves just to accumulate it
anymore. Work-life balance, when did everyone get so soft? I would argue that the older generations had an unhealthy work-life balance. You decided to
unhealthy
front load 50 years of work to then maybe have 10 years of life. Millennials and Gen Zers were like, no, we would like to enjoy our life along the way and not give up arguably our best 45 or 50 years. We want to have these enriching experiences along the way, and doing a 4-day work week is the quickest way to do that. We can get things done in 32 hours instead of 40, and this is where the world is going. We want the extra day to sit in a hammock and have a fucking nice coffee, spend time with our family, or this is actually more practical of what's really going on. Millennials and Gen Zers are working 2-3 jobs. So though you call us soft, though you call us lazy, we are working harder than the previous generations in longer hours for way less. And anytime this 4-day work week is brought up to boomers who aren't retired, they ask, well, what would I do on that extra day? Or what would I do if I retire? That is a bizarre thing to millennials and Gen. What would you do? You could start a garden, start a podcast, spoil your grandkids, travel. You could do anything that you want, but you all have just dedicated your life to corporations, and that's great if that's what you want to do. But you're not going to push this on us and say that we're soft and lazy because we see a better way.
Ding, 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 ding. He hit it right, precisely and concisely. My point is exactly what I've been stating, because you have a lot of these older generations who think that we're just soft because we don't know how to handle the everyday pressures of just working and busting our ass. But that's not just the way of life. There should be a balance. It shouldn't be 90% work, and the rest of it is just, now that's life. Like, no. What would be the point of that? Like, what is the point of that? I'm pretty sure the point of life is that, to have the overall experience, the overall of traveling, creating relationships, working on your purpose, working on your talents, your gifts, spreading love, joy, laughter, crying. Like, you experience the whole human experience. The whole human experience should not be predicated off of just working 9 to 5, and then that's that, and you're just miserable. That doesn't sound like a human experience. That doesn't sound balanced at all. That doesn't sound healthy. So you hit it right then and there. People want to sit there and say that, oh, they're lazy, they're this, that, and the third. Like, no. Nobody wants to work 100 years and now you're retired and now you get to quote unquote live life. You're already worked half of that. Half of your life is already gone. And you up there and it's like, bro, that's crazy. So I commend the generations to finally waking up and realizing, you know, there's more for me out in this world than just sitting here at a damn corporate job that does not care about me. So why should I care about them? But hey, let anyone else tell it, you're soft, you don't know how to handle it, it's just the new generation. Like, no. People are tired. This is a revolution. This is the turning point. This is the boiling point. This is the new age. This is the new era. This is the new time. This is in 2025. We are nothing like the old generations, the past generations who just took shit and just kept it pushing. This generation, they have a different way. You got a lot more people who have a voice. They're trying to lead. People are going back to God. People are waking up. People are getting out of this matrix. And that right there, that's where the real change happens. But I'm about to wrap this video up. I might do this in a part series. Y'all let me know what y'all think, the good people, bro. Leave your likes, your comments, your concerns, your thoughts. And what do you think about the 9-to-5 work life? Do you think it's too much? Do you think we're just complaining? Do you think that there's a more conducive way for it to be an appropriate work-life balance that fits the rest of humanity? That way we could all live happily ever after. You let me know. But yeah, I might do another part series on this, because this is something that needs to be talked about a lot more. And we're going to get into it. We're going to be, like I said, we're going to be reacting all 2025. Just letting y'all know that. Y'all can even give me ideas of what to react to. It. The stuff that's going on in the world, or entertainment-wise, game-wise, release, anything, movies. Y'all let me know. We're in this together. So with that being said, before I close out, I just want to give all praises to the Most High God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You done tuned in with another video with Turn Me Up Tony. And I'm going to see you guys on the next video. Peace.